let's talk Bordeaux. Which side are you on? Are you on the, boy, is it overrated, or is it's incredible value? I'm not even talking about which side of the river you're on. At which point you may say, wait, what? Stick around. I'll explain. I'm pretty sure every wine fan knows of Bordeaux. I'm Ellen from the blog Wine Talk with Ellen. I'm very big on telling people or suggesting to people that they don't need to overthink or overspend, and that a little knowledge goes a long way. And then I go to talk about Bordeaux, and I think, oh, wait, let me tell you about this, let me tell you about that, which is, by the way, could be perceived as overthinking, or as I refer to it, as going down the rabbit hole. This is largely unscripted. My video editor has suggested that I have a few notes, because otherwise I go off totally. But in order to explain Bordeaux and not over-explain, I've decided that I'll try to give basics, and then if I feel that I'm going, as I word it, going down the rabbit hole, and if you can't see this, my video editor will show you the picture a little closer. I'll keep doing this, and if you see that, you go, uh-oh, I may not have to pay attention to this. I may be overcomplicating it. So let's do that. So let's simplify some things. Bordeaux is a region in France. It is also a city in France. You don't need to grow the grapes in the city, just the region. So here is where everything is located. One side or the other, he will show it. Generally, I can't stand, when people overcomplicate wines and they say, you should probably find a wine that's on the fog line on this side of the mountain or the slope of the other. Nobody shops for wine that way. I mean, not at the level I do. Probably most of you don't. So we're going to try to make this easier. However, in Bordeaux, where you are does matter, because what I mentioned before is there are, when I said which side of the river, there are rivers in Bordeaux. Now, going through Bordeaux, and whether you're on the right side of the river or the left side of the river, actually makes a huge difference. And they grow, you're going to find totally different wines on one side versus the other. Now, almost all wines in Bordeaux are blends. And most of them are going to be red. If you're talking red wine in Bordeaux, it is going to be Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc. And there's some lesser known wines that sort of play a piece. If you said at this point, well, what about Pinot Noir? Nope, wrong place. If you say, what whites do they grow there? And I'm going to tell you it's Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon. If at this point you go, but I like Chardonnay, and I'm going to tell you for both Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, go to Burgundy. And if, again, you're saying, wait, what? I'm going to say, let's talk about old world wines versus new world wines. Maybe a rabbit hole, but this is important. Old world is Europe. New world is everywhere else, even though that there are some places that probably grew wine before Europe, still Europe is old world wine. And they have a lot of rules. In fact, for certain rules, it's considered legally protected intellectual property. So you can't suddenly say, oh yeah, this wine is Bordeaux, and it's not. If you haven't seen the New World wine labels, which are, quite frankly, much easier than Old World, you should probably go, you should go to my video on New World wine labels. I've been putting this one off because I keep going down a rabbit hole. Okay. There are so many rules. You do not need to know all the rules. Not at the level we're enjoying. However, left bank wines are mostly Cabernet Sauvignon centric, as they say. That's going to be the heavy hitter one. You may have Merlot, but everybody, you're not going to find Cabernet Sauvignon on the right bank. So somewhere in here, I have maps that I'm going to show you. I'm not sure how thrilled you are with those, but it will make sense to you when you see the rivers and the locations. Even within Bordeaux, a whole hierarchy, so that this one you would want for the labels. You start with having a wine label that just says Bordeaux. That is usually the lowest price wines, and those are the ones that will have, that's where your value is going to be. And they still could be totally delicious. Now, the next step up is Bordeaux Superior. Oh, by the way, I should have said that these are AOC wine. It says Appellation Bordeaux Contrôlé. And that is appellation, or the origin. That is controlled. That's where the rules come. So the next step, though, is Bordeaux Superior, which I don't happen to have the bottle here, but here's the wine label from when I had one. That one actually, although it has stricter rules, that happens to be a great one, and I got it at Trader Joe's for under $10. So there's your reason. Those are your values, and they're still delicious. And after that, you've got the subregions, and then you've got the communes, and the prices are going to go up as the areas get smaller. It's just the way it works.